Hey everybody, it's me, Eric, from epautos.com, your Libertarian car guy. And I'm going to do a quick walk around here of the 2017 Toyota Highlander. First, the stuff that's new. The V6 has been updated. It's got 25 more horsepower than before, and they've paired it with an 8-speed automatic. The standard powertrain, the 2.74, carries over, and it also still comes with the 6-speed automatic that was standard previously. Highlander people will probably be able to tell some of the cosmetic updates for the new model year. This one that we're looking at is the new SE trim, which has some blackout treatment up front and also has a sport-themed 19-inch wheel and tire package. Okay, now that the update stuff is out of the way, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What I think is interesting about the Highlander, well, there are a couple things that are interesting about the Highlander. The first is that it's one of the few vehicles in its class, which is medium-large crossover SUV, that does not come with turbocharged engines. The standard engine is still just a regular 4-cylinder engine, fairly large, 2.7 liters, no turbo. The optional engine is the 3.5-liter V6. Some vehicles in this class no longer even offer a V6, like the Mazda CX-9, for example, and many others either come standard with or offer turbocharged engines. They have more power, some of them, but they've got the turbos. And as those of you who are familiar with my rants know, I'm very ambivalent about the widespread adoption of turbos, particularly in family-type vehicles. It adds a layer of complexity, it adds a layer of cost, both up front and potentially down the road when the turbo and the intercooler and all the related peripherals stop. Oh, there goes my neighbor with his obnoxious Harley Abelson, which you can probably hear, and I'll try and talk over it. So there's that in favor of the Highlander. I personally, if I were in the market for a vehicle like this, which is a family car fundamentally, I'd be looking at it in terms of durability, reliability, and the fact that it doesn't have turbos, I think, enhances that quality. All right, the other thing that I like about the Highlander, and you may agree or disagree, it's not a Gigantosaurus. It's big, it has 3 rows, it can take up to 8 people, but it's considerably more manageable than some of the other vehicles in this class. For example, the new Chevy Traverse, which is one of the vehicles that the Highlander nominally competes against. There he goes, Harley Abelson. Lots of noise, not much power. Anyway, the new Traverse is bigger, if you can believe it, than the current Chevy Tahoe. It's slightly longer overall than the Tahoe. It's big. It's about a foot longer than the Highlander. Some of the others in this class, too, that are bigger, the Ford Explorer, Mazda CX-9, they're just longer overall, and that makes them a little bit less easy to deal with when you're trying to park and maneuver. Also, they take up more room in your garage. Now, the interesting thing about the interior space is that the Highlander is very competitive. As far as cargo capacity, it's got as much or even more than some of the others in the class that are physically bigger. It's got one of the roomiest first rows in the class, and its second row is very competitive, within half an inch, 3/4 of an inch, or an inch of the others in the class. The one area where it comes up a little short literally is in the 3rd row, which has got about 27 inches of legroom. The class-leading Traverse has, oh gosh, I'm trying to pull this out of my head here, but it's about 33 or 34 inches, about 5 or 6 inches more in the Traverse. But again, it depends what your situation is. If you buy this vehicle chiefly to haul kids, which is probably what most people do generally, then you may not have an issue with the slightly cramped back seat, which is certainly adequate for kids and young teenagers. No worries there at all. So, you know, you pays your money and you takes your choices. Now, I want to show you some other cool things before I sign off here that I personally really like about the Highlander. Okay, first is I dig this console a lot. This is like a 2-piece console. You pop this part open and you've got like this really nice big area here that you can use for a big gulp in addition to your regular cup holders. Just like that, slide it open and close. And the same thing here, this goes back like that instead of flipping up, so you haven't got this thing in your way and you can access this. And look how deep that sucker is. I mean, shoot, it's like a Grand Canyon down there. Toyota also offers a pretty clever aftermarket or dealer available little storage divider thing too that you can use in there. So there's that. Dig that. I'm going to turn the car on because I want to show you the other extraordinarily cool thing, but let the engine warm up a second. You've got this neat little package shelf here. That's super handy. It's an entirely different look than some of the others in this class. The Mazda CX-9, for example, has a really slick looking interior, but it's a very different layout. You know, again, apples and oranges. It depends on what your personal preference is, and you know, whether you like a certain look or whether you really like just the good solid functionality of a car. Personally, I really like the functionality, but let me get to the super cool thing. All right, first of all, there's the semi not so cool thing, and it is that the new V6 comes with the auto stop start system. A lot of you are probably familiar with that. The manufacturers have had to resort to that because of the government corporate average fuel economy requirements. Auto start stop, you come to a stop at a traffic light, the engine quits automatically, and the idea is that by not idling it's going to save a little bit of fuel, which I guess it does, but on an individual basis it's not a whole lot. But the way CAFE works, they factor that over several 100,000 vehicles, and it adds up, so that's why they have it. But here's the thing, in most vehicles you have to manually push a button somewhere to shut the stupid thing off so that the engine doesn't stop every time you come to a light. And by the way, when the engine stops, so does the AC, because for the most part, air conditioners are mechanically driven by the engine. So when the engine turns off, so does the AC. When it's 95 degrees outside, that kind of sucks. Then the engine kicks back on, the vehicle shudders. You know, it's not terrible, but it's a little bit of an annoyance. I don't like it. I don't know whether any of you out there listening feel the same way, but like OJ would say, I don't like it. All right, so Toyota came up with this really cool system. I'm going to try and show it to you. Okay, now I'm in gear, and we'll see if it does it. The engine is cold. I just started driving, so let's see if it'll go. What happens is, okay, I roll to a stop. Let's see if I can get it to do it. It may not do it, so you're just going to have to bear with me here. But you're driving, and you come to a stop, and the engine will remain running. Okay, look, you can probably see this now. It says depress brake firmly to activate. See, the engine is still running. I've stopped the vehicle. I've got the brake pedal depressed. If I want to engage the stupid auto stop start, I push down on the brake pedal a little more, like that. Now you can see the engine went off if you watch the tach. Now if I let off the brake, watch the tachometer to the left, and the engine will start right back up. This is really a nice, seamless, and intuitive system that puts you in control and not some stupid computer, not some stupid programmer. So bless Toyota for doing that. Anyway, I'll have more up at epautos.com shortly, and meanwhile, we thank you for viewing, and we will catch up with you again soon.